Okay, we will call to order this regular board meeting of the Woodford County Board of Education on March 21st, 2022. And we're very happy to say that we're at Southside Elementary and back in the schools again. For a roll call, all members are present. And if you would please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, and the flag is back here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. And we do have some proposed amendments to the agenda. I would ask that we move items D, E, and F to the top of the agenda so that our students can be recognized and get home for dinner or homework or whatever it is that they need to do tonight.
It's awfully nice outside.
It is awfully nice outside. So if the board could line up on this red line, the students, when you come forward, if you'll come down, we can get you on the camera receiving your recognitions. And Miss Bailey, if you'll come read the names, we'll begin with the Southside's Governor's Cup team.
Could we have moms and dads, if they wanted, come over to this side in front of the things and take some pics?
Yeah, absolutely.
That
If you
way
want to
they
come
can
down
get
and take
instead of
pictures,
come
you're
up there.
welcome.
Let's rock this. Oh, you want us to do that now? Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Oh, yes, if parents want to stand on the entrance side of the gymnasium, that is a good picture location. Okay, I think we're ready to get started with the first recognition, which is the Southside Academic Team. They were the District 79 champions and the Regional Governor's Cup runners-up for 2022. So, yes. They had a remarkable season, and I'm going to read their names. So first is a Regional Governor's Cup 2022 runners-up team with Avery Bennett, Riley Duncan, Emma. Yeah, if you guys want to come, you'll shake the board's hand. You'll shake the board's hand and get a certificate. Awesome job. Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. When you hear your name, you can come forward, okay? Great. Avery Bennett, Riley Duncan, Emma Dorsey, Ethan McAllister, Ella Cora Tackett, Olivia Willoughby, and Adrian Bowers. Okay, that was the regional team, and now for the District 79 champions. And several of the students who already named were on that team as well, but I'm going to name these new names. Ethan Gubenya, Manuel Alvarez, Elizabeth Grenay, Henry Vickers, Landon Philpott, Silverland Breeding, Wyatt Brown, Cooper Maines, Natalie Basanta, Ella Kate Gibson, Clarissa Hill, and Miss Violet Long. And those are the team. So I think we probably want to get a group picture if all the students can come back this way, as well as the coaches. Okay, I apologize. We actually have one more student to recognize from the academic team. And her name is Miss Hadley Hurd. Awesome.
Haley? Can you tell us what your favorite part of academic team competition was?
My favorite part of the academic team competition was finding different things I've never done because I've not really done language arts before, but I guess it was the best that I've done.
Congratulations. Great job.
Okay, next we have cross country, Woodford County High School cross country to recognize. Ms. Bradley, same thing, we want them to come down one by one and maybe hang out over here for a group picture. Okay, so we're gonna have our cross country runners come down when you hear your name, and then we'll have you hang out just right over here and we'll do the same thing. Once everyone's been called, we'll bring you up front with the board for a photo. Okay, so the Woodford County High School cross-country team also had a phenomenal season. They were, for the girls team, the Central Kentucky Conference girls team champions. And the boys team came in third place for the same conference, the Central Kentucky Conference boys team. I am going to read this roster, and it's several names, so if you want to hold your applause for the end, you want to clap along, that's okay too. Okay, starting with the girls. Lainey Banks, Brendan Burke, Megan Burke, Maylee Caldwell, Benjamin Carey, Joseph Carey. Oh, you guys are going to come this way. You're going to shake the board's hand. Sorry if that was confusing. You're going to shake the board's hand, get your certificate, and then you'll hang out there for a group photo at the end. Okay, all the other sports teams, take note. This is what you're going to do. Okay, Joseph Carey, Jace, oh, I'm sorry, that's why you were laughing. Oh, gosh, I guess it's not, okay. Jace Kroom, Cassidy Gilbert, Sarah Goodrich, Jackson Gordon, Evelyn Hamilton, Ryan Hash, Emma Hayes, Ryan Hendricks, Larkin Hewitt, Ashley Higdon, Joshua Jaton, Arissa Keith, Grayson Keith, Brianne Lacefield, Sarah Langdock, Margaret McSorley, Reed Miller, Samara Miller, Addison Moore, Simon Nero, Wyatt Porter, Eva Kate Probus, Morgan Reynolds, Abigail Santos, Amelia Sprinkle, Macy Stickle, Arden Stone, Chase Thurman, Maggie Tweehoose, Mia Van Hoos, and Scott Watson.
All right, if you guys want to come over here, we'll grab a quick picture.
Okay, next is the Woodford County High School girls soccer team. So, they were the District 30 champions in the regular season and the tournament. I'm going to read off the All District 30 team and the All Region 8 team, but our soccer players, you can wait till I get to the roster before you come down, okay? The All District 30 team, Mackenzie Terry was the MVP. Annabeth Hawkins was on that team, Emily Vieira, and Abby Spencer. For the All Region 8 team, and first team was Mackenzie Terry, second team was Annabeth Hawkins, and honorable mention was Emily Vieira. Okay, for the team roster. Luz Avila, Deanna Burns, Caitlin Butcher, Abby Devers, Kendall Dewar, Maddie Elder, Kaylin Escaloni, Bailey Fouts, Evelyn Goins, Sarah Hallman, Annabeth Hawkins, Juliana Knight, Maria Larksa, Mallory Mefford, Savannah Moffett, Sophie Paul, Adriana Santos, Ella Sayre, Kendall Spalding, Abigail Spencer, Jocelyn Spencer, Grace Taylor, Mackenzie Terry, and Emily Vieira.
So I'm told you guys have two team captains, Mackenzie Taylor and Annabeth Hawkins. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about your season?
Hi guys, I'm Annabeth. We had a great season this year. We started off a little slow, but we definitely picked up the pace, and we had a great district tournament. I think our team had a lot of unity. And anything else, guys? We killed it. Yeah, that's it.
What? Do what? Okay. Oh, have him do the names for football? Love that. Love that. Okay, next is boys soccer, Woodford County High School boys soccer. So the team, they were the District 30 champions, and they made it to the Region 8 Final Four. We have a few player highlights. Owen Dom made second team All-State. He was the Region 8 Player of the Year. He was in the Region 8 All-Region team, and he was the District 30 Most Valuable Player. Sawyer Gribble was also on the Region 8 All-Region team. Jonathan Aguilar was on the District 30 All-Tournament team. Andy Johnson was on the District 30 All-Tournament team. And Gael Gonzalez was also on the District 30 All-Tournament team. So for the team roster, and guys who are here, just when you hear your name, you can come on down. Jonathan Aguilar, Brian Alvor, Alexandre Antoine, Enrique Aea, Kai Coburn, Owen Dom, Will Endicott, Caleb Evans, Fabian Garcia, Caleb Gomez, Gail Gonzalez, Sawyer Gribble, Jonah Hall, Andy Johnson, Ethan Johnson, Michael Nichols, Diego Rubalcaba, Nate Wells, Gavin Wilbur, Austin Williams, and Chase Willis.
Okay, the boys soccer captain is Kai Coburn, so he's going to say a little bit about their season, any other highlights or anything you want to tell us, okay?
All right, my name's Kai Coburn. I was the captain for the Woodford County High School soccer team. I'll make it short and sweet. So I think it's fair to say we had a rough start at the beginning, but we rounded out the season and finished strong and finished good. I want to say that we couldn't have done it without the support of the administration and the hard work of the team players and the coaching staff. We had many highs in the season, and I think we all became better players because of it, and all became closer as a team. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
We would like to thank everybody for the support during our football season. We had a great season, a bunch of great young men. We had a ton of support. We were able to win the district title. We won the regional title, finished runner-up in the semi-state, but these kids did some phenomenal things. There were a bunch of great young men. They had a great time with each other. Our administration, they fed us a few times, so we appreciate their support. The community came out, and those kids really enjoyed it. It was a great experience for our whole community. So I'm going to introduce the guys real fast. We have a lot of them here, a lot of people doing a lot of different things, but some of the guys who came, Graham Hides, come on out, shake hands. Kayla Brown, Danielle Morton, Kristen Bowling, Makai Smith, who just picked up a University of Kentucky football offer, and Jasper Johnson. Thank you all.
Okay. Next, we will do the Southside student performance and the Southside school presentation from Mr. Reynolds. Whatever works for you.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Reynolds, the principal here at Southside, and we are going to talk to you a little bit about the big rocks here at Southside. First of all, I do want to say that we're honored that you guys could be here at Southside for the first board meeting back out in the public, more normal than we've had in quite some time. We have to say that the bleachers had not been pulled out in 2 years here, and so we had to pull them out and dust them off a little bit to get them ready to go for this, so we're excited about that. So our big rocks this year are community engagement, math, and writing. And so we've asked some students to come up and help us specifically with the community engagement aspect of that. Okay?
One of our goals this year was to make a special effort to establish strong relationships with our community. We would like to take an opportunity to showcase our activities to date. We have taken advantage of our beautiful school grounds to invite community members to be a part of our school. Both the Back to School 5K and the grand event welcomed community members from all backgrounds to join the Stallions in celebrating things such as a healthy heart and a strong family connections.
Since the first week of school, we have been partnering with the Woodford Humane Society by providing pet portraits for animals waiting to be adopted. We have learned about their personalities and added details to the artwork that may help match the animals with the forever family. The artwork is then donated to the family and has and it has been so amazing to get updates from people in the community thanking us for our artwork and capturing their new friends so perfectly. We have had people frame our portraits and hang them in their homes. We have learned many elements of art through this process, but so many more amazing life lessons as well. We are excited to continue this partnership with our amazing local Humane Society for many years to come.
During the month of October, 4th grade students decorated pumpkins to represent our favorite book characters. Our character pumpkins included the Cat in the Hat, Harry Potter, Captain Underpants, Pete the Cat, and many more. After sharing the pumpkin with the other children here at Southside, we donated them to Daisy Hill Assisted Living Facility. We realized that the residents probably weren't in a position to get out and about to enjoy the Halloween festivities, so we wanted to bring a little Halloween happiness to the men and women who have contributed so much to Versailles in the past.
During the Christmas and Valentine's season, students here at Southside Elementary sent homemade cards to the residents at Morning Point and Daisy Hill Assisted Living Facilities. We thought it was important to spread cheer to those valuable members of the community who are no longer able to move about as freely as they once were. We wanted them to know we cared and appreciated them. We were super excited when the residents at Morning Point chose to make greeting cards and even treats to send back to us. Although we just wanted to make them smile, they ended up being the ones to make us feel super special. Both groups, the students and residents, ended up brightening the day of the others around them. And here at Southside, that is what we're all about, being stronger together.
You guys come back up and let's introduce the speakers from that group. Come back up here and let's introduce who you are. Come on. Tell us your first and last name, please.
Hi, I'm Andrew Gordon.
Hi, I'm Gemma Lewis.
Hi, I'm Natalie Basanta.
Hi, I'm Ella Coyle.
Hi, I'm Bianca Bargo, one of the 2 school counselors here at Southside. Hey, Henry. And I am one of the faculty advisors for our K-Kids Service Club, along with Miss Shonda Worthman right over there. And so these kids are going to tell you a little bit about their service projects and their community engagement. We've had a really big year, and they're ready to get you going.
Hi, I'm Haley DeYoung, and we are a service club made up of 5th graders. And then some of the service projects that we've done this year is packing up supplies to donate to Western Kentucky, and then preparing kindness bags for the community helpers.
Hi, I'm Grayson Spears, and we surprised Mr. Bryan, our custodian, with a pressure washer for the school. Also, delivering the kindness bags to our awesome substitute teachers and our bus drivers.
Our largest project this year was the Staff Wellness Space Project. We won a $2,000 grant from the CKEC and received donations from PTO and spent some of the club's funds. Here are the before and after pictures of our lounge. We also improved the downstairs workroom. And the final improvement we made was to the staff restrooms. Here's the before.
And the after. This was a huge project that we are proud to have done. Thank you.
As things continue to get back to normal, we do have some other events coming up that will be for community engagement, including our Art Hop, which is going to be for all grades. We're going to be coming and sharing some of their artwork, as well as a musical for the 5th grade called Summer Camp coming up in the future. A second big rocket that we had is math, And we've had several things that we worked on with math this year. This is our second year of implementation of Eureka, full implementation. And we're looking forward to seeing success build as the students get more familiar with the terminology that is associated with that, as well as moving on to Eureka Squared next year, which is just the next iteration of that. We're also fortunate this year to have a math coach. This is our first year with a math coach, and we're excited about the things that she's been able to accomplish. Ms. Hall has been able to lead lots of intervention groups and also help provide professional development for our staff, and organizing some POPs, which we're just getting started on fully, which is personalized plans of learning for students based on their MAP scores. And so we are rolling that out for grades 2 through 5. Then we have also tried our best to integrate more math terminology into everyday life, and that includes our morning announcements. And we've done several different things over the time, including Estimistries, and Mr. Beatty was kind enough to choose this one to highlight our Estimistries.
Great, thanks, Callan. You did a fantastic job on the pledge.
Good job.
Oh man, I'm feeling a little groovy today.
I am.
Woo!
Yeah, the band's back together, guys.
All right, so our mystery for today is how many strands are in the mop? How many strands? Yesterday, you just did your initial thoughts, and so today it's time for the first clue. Let me come a little closer so you can see me a little bit better. I know you want to. The first clue is there are only even numbers in my answer. Only even numbers. So we'll get rid of those 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9s because there are none of those in this answer. Only even numbers.
Only even numbers. And man, Mr. Reynolds, you really grew your hair out for this. Like, you're committed to this mystery. I'm impressed.
I think I'm looking good.
Yeah, looking good.
Oh, yeah.
Looking good, yeah. A little bit of 80s rock band for you guys, you know, big hair.
So just a little more about the Estimistries. We just give a new clue every day, and at the end of the week, hopefully the students have narrowed down the answer that they've chosen and are able to get it correct. So it's a good little game that we play most weeks and give some variety on that and get students talking about math. Now, Mr. Beatty.
Hi there, I'm David Beatty. I'm the academic dean here and the other guy in the mop head in the video right there, in case you couldn't recognize. So I'm just going to talk briefly about writing here at Southside. I'm going to highlight a couple of different things. So we've invested in professional development from a company called Smeckens. This year, it's been used across the district, but we actually had someone come in 3 different times this year. This is Rachel Remenschneider, and she's been fantastic. She came in to run some mini lessons that our teachers could see and be available for hands-on time with our teachers to help them improve their reading and writing, actually. So we've actually focused a lot on writing across content areas as well. So not just writing for writing's sake and writing independently, but writing in math and science and that sort of thing. So can a student write about what they've learned in another subject area? So we've really had a focus on that this year as well. And in each grade from 2nd grade to 5th grade, we do 2 on-demand writing assessments every year. So students write an opinion in one of these on-demand writing assessments, and we actually use that to help inform our instruction at school and kind of give us a baseline, and we get good data on how students are doing with these online or with these on-demand writing assessments. One of my favorite things is we've actually had some students with just spontaneous writing assignments. We might actually have a few still here in the gym today. So Mr. Reynolds and I occasionally get an email and it says, hey, I wrote a little book, and they'll bring that to us. So we highlighted a few of these students in one of our morning announcements here. It's a lot of fun to see kids that are enjoying writing so much that they are just like spontaneously writing books. And just this morning, I got a website. So I guess we're moving on from just writing books to whole websites now. So it just shows that they're really taking on that the love of writing. So that's really fun. Yes. Oh, where are you, Zach? Raise your hand. Right there. Yes, there he is. The man himself. Famous. All right. So I'm going to bring our students back up to help me finish up. Just our last little bit here. Okay. You've seen some really, really great things, and we're so proud of Southside. It's an amazing community, and actually all of that really rides on our students, which you've gotten to get a glimpse at today, and all of our amazing staff, which couldn't all be here, but we wanted to include them in the picture. So really what we're most proud of is our culture and our community here at Southside, which is a great place. And these students are going to help me close it. You guys know how to close it, right? I didn't prepare them for this at all, but it's... That's right. Thank you.
Congratulations, you guys, and thank you very much. Mr. Reynolds, do you want to hang out and see if there's any questions? We're so out of practice.
Yes. Of course, anybody have questions? I'll be happy to try my best.
Anybody?
No question.
You guys have any questions for Mr. Reynolds?
No, thank you. I want to know how many strands were in the mop head.
I kind of wanted to know that too.
You know, I don't have a clue anymore because that was quite some time ago. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
He didn't really count. He didn't cheat.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's always evident when you come in Southside that it's a great culture. The kids love being in the building. The parents love being in the building. The staff seem to love being in the building too. So thank you so much.
Yeah, it's definitely a fantastic place to work and learn.
So one of the things I did when I was a kid, I think I was in 4th grade, we had pen pals at a retirement home that was right behind my school. And I love to see that that tradition is going on with some of the activities from the engagement side. I think that's really wonderful to engage our kids with some of the older community. So thank you.
Yeah, you know, a lot of things got sidelined with COVID, but
Yeah.
this is something that we weren't doing previously that I don't think will go away anytime soon.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's
we're
wonderful.
very happy about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and obviously as a parent to a Southside Stallion, thank you for everything you do each and every day for our kids to keep them safe and to help them learn. And I also echo the civic engagement is really neat. That's a wonderful piece that you've added, and I applaud your efforts in that.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here each and every day. I love it.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds.
Real quick, just want to commend you on a great school year, a great student and staff presentation. Great things happening here at Southside, so commend you on a great school year.
Thank you, sir.
Finish strong. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. All right, next we will move on to the superintendent's remarks.
Yeah, real quick, great board meeting tonight. I love being at a school. I love seeing students, see their smiles, seeing them recognized, and us getting the opportunity to celebrate them. So to me, that's one of the things I've missed probably the most over the last 2 years through COVID. But it's hopefully we're trending in the right direction, and we can continue to move forward with what we're doing right now. So we're looking at we have talked to our principals as far as just getting ready for volunteers, field trips, end of year events, things that have traditionally been done for our students that they've had to miss out on. So very exciting. Bands and orchestras. Last week I was able to attend several of those performances over at the KMEA band assessments. Some of them were at Scott County. Some of them were at the Center for the Arts over here at UK. All of them received the highest rating, which was distinguished. So congratulations to them. They've done great work. Our lacrosse, first year for our lacrosse, they're having great seasons. They're moving forward, winning games as they always have, I think. From what I can gather, there's been a great history for that. We've now made it a high school sport, and we're excited to have them and have them performing with Woodford County High School across their chest, and middle school. We have both boys and girls high school and middle school across now. Boys basketball just finished up a great season, made it to the regional finals. Got way behind in the first half. If not, we'd probably been over at Rupp last week playing. Had a really good season, so congratulations to those guys. HOSA, we had several state winners and several that have qualified, and they've also actually qualified for the Nationals, so hats off to them. We're excited to see them go to, Lizzie, are you a part of that? Yes. Atlanta? Is it?
It's Nashville for HOSA, and then DECA is in.
Okay, gotcha. So I've got them separated up. We've got so many students doing so many great things, it's hard to keep up with it all. So we got a group going to Nashville, we got a group going to Atlanta to represent Woodford County High School at the National. So a very exciting time. Our FFA was at the Capital Regional City Speaking Contest. We had several first and second place finishers who will move on to compete at the FFA convention in June. Am I correct? And that's it. Is that in Louisville? Yes. I'm assuming yes. Probably at the fairgrounds, I would imagine. And then also, I know tonight we recognized Southside, and I think someone pointed out that they were runners up in the region. The beautiful thing about that is that Woodford County swept the region. We were both first and second. Simmons won the region, so hats off to their academic team as well. They actually had a winner's walk last Friday, so it was very exciting to see those kids and get celebrated and rewarded for their success in academics as well. So we got a lot of great things going on, guys, a lot of great things.
All right, thank you very much. It's a good problem to have when we have so many recognitions to do, and obviously it's wonderful to be back in the schools. So next we'll move on to the good news report, and Lizzie, can we start with you?
So over this past weekend, I was able to go to that HOSA state conference like you were talking about. It was a lot of fun. We got to speak to a lot of new people. It was a great networking opportunity, and a lot of people qualified for state, which will be in Nashville, and one of our students, Chloe, actually became a state officer over the weekend, so that was super cool. A lot of people are going to FFA for state, and that will be super fun. A lot of good things are happening. Baseball season just started, lacrosse season starting, and both of those are going very well. I know the baseball team has a game in Sarah County tonight, at Sarah tonight, but everything's going well. The seniors have like 33 more days of school left, and also
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm not counting or anything, but 33. And also, I'm so happy to be at Southside because this is where I went to elementary school, and always be a Southside stallion. So that's good.
Very good. Mrs. Richardson?
No, I think it was really exciting to see the kids tonight. I noticed one thing that stood out for me was when they sent the cards and letters to the elders. And my daughter has worked for several years in an aftercare home, and I know how much they appreciate and how much that means to them, and it also lets the kids see that, you know, at one time they were them. They lived the life that they're living now. So I think it's really important, and seeing them go and do that is just such an important thing to see what, you know, how you can reach out to people and touch them later in life, and how a card can just mean so much. So that was by far my favorite part tonight. Lacrosse plays tomorrow night. I know they've had an excellent season. We talked about that. So I think they have a late game. I think it's 8 o'clock. Is that right?
Probably,
I believe
yes,
they play at
they
8
have.
o'clock. But so if anybody can go out and kind of cheer them on, I know they're kind of new, but it'd be nice to have a crowd. We're going to try to get out there. If we get out of here early enough, then we'll go out and see them. But so go Woodford.
All right, thank you. Ms. Glass?
My good news report is actually being here in a school. This is my very first board meeting in 14 plus months that I have been in a school. So it's been really nice to actually see children and see students and see staff that work so hard, and kind of reiterate the hard work that we do. Sometimes it's hard to forget that we're here for cute little smiling faces. So I'm just extra thankful to be here tonight, and thankful for Southside for having us.
Thank you. Mr. Atkins kind of stole my good news report. I actually had the chance to go over and judge the speaking contest for the FFA students, and it was just fantastic to be with those kids and to see them come up and do something that's outside their comfort zone and speak publicly, and they did a fantastic job. Our Woodford County kids are, as always, well prepared and very professional, and a great model of the gold standard that we expect in Woodford County. So very proud of that and of all the other accomplishments, and to all of our academic teams at each different level for winding up their seasons and all of the success. Our academic team program from 4th grade through 12th grade is really strong in Woodford County, and it's a very neat experience for those kids. So very appreciative to all of the teachers and coaches who give so much of their time for those activities to happen. Ms. Springate?
Yes, I think that it's certainly a wonderful time to be a Woodford County student or family. I think the one thing that I'm really just happy to see is that there are a lot of bills that are very supportive of K-12 education and even preschool kind of moving forward in this legislative session. So hopefully, if there's a particular bill that you're supportive of, you can reach out to your legislators and give them some support for that. So,
all right, thank you. Ms. McHale?
It's been a busy month already, I feel like. We're getting up on spring break, so I hope everybody has a good time off. We certainly all, I think, deserve it by this time of the year. I had the opportunity to attend a basketball game, a high school basketball game, which it's been more than a couple of years since I've been to a high school basketball game. It was so fun, and the crowd was fun. The kids were having a ball. It didn't end up the way that we wanted it to, so I hope nobody holds it against me and probably Miss Glass for going, but it was super fun to be there. It feels like things are getting a little back to normal. We had a dance on Friday night for the high school. I saw that the middle school has scheduled their 8th grade luau and their end of the year celebration for their 8th graders. We did ACTs a couple of weeks ago for our juniors. So I think it feels like things are starting to come back to normal, and it's really exciting to see all of our kids remain engaged and start being able to, for some of them, do some of these things for the very first time. So I'm very grateful for that.
Absolutely. Mr. Chenoweth? I'm just messing with you.
Always glad to be in Woodford County.
There you go.
Gives me a chance to drive through my hometown of Lawrenceburg.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, you know what's next on the agenda? Ryan Asher. And the instructional and equity update, and I did not skip over it.
Appreciate that. I'll let you know when, Bob. There we go. How's that?
Good.
Okay. My report will be somewhat brief tonight because we will be back together, as you mentioned, tomorrow. We'll be going through just a whole set of data over the past couple years, really, and a number of things that'll look kind of pre-COVID and, well, post, hopefully, as we head that way. So a couple things I did want to update you on, though, since I last reported 3 weeks ago. We have completed our learning walk process. We use the Elliott tool that I've mentioned before, and just, you saw some evidence of that tonight. Just it's a great process. While it is an accountability measure, it also is it's a learning process for all of us that are on the team, because not only is it district level, there are school level folks on each of those teams, and they really can learn from each other and see some of the different activities that are going on at Southside, at Northside, at the high school, so on and so forth. So we did complete that, and it was just great to see clear evidence of quality teaching and learning in and out of the classroom. So it was good to complete that process for a second time this year. We had our March 7th PD day, our built-in PD day. I had mentioned that, I believe, last time. It was, we treat that day as school controlled, so most of the schools have plans where they were working on the work. Mr. Reynolds mentioned the big rocks that they had outlined, so it's addressing those things, what last little pieces need to be done to finish out the year, and so a successful day on March 7th. That afternoon, as I get into our equity update here, I had mentioned this, we did our Equity Action Plan workshop. You'll see the results of that in the near future, either April or May, because basically we are revising that Equity Action Plan based on the work we've done thus far, and we had a successful afternoon. To begin the afternoon, I felt it was important on the why. Why do we do what we do? And all the members of that team that took part in that, both district level leaders and school leaders, all contributed. They had to answer that question. Why is this work important to our district? So it was nice to hear the different perspectives on that. And then beyond that, credit goes to Elaine Bailey for putting together a video I asked her to do to further emphasize the why. And I think this is pretty powerful, and I wanted to share it with you all tonight.
me.
For us. For us.
Para nosotros.
For us.
For me.
For us.
It was great, Elaine. Thank you for putting that together. She had about a 3-day turnaround or so and did a wonderful job, so I appreciate that. I was to start this meeting that I mentioned, the workshop. I wanted something powerful. I'm looking up YouTube and stuff, and I'm like, we need to use our kids. So went down to her office, and I think she did a great job. And if that doesn't answer your why, I don't know what will. So I thought that was pretty powerful and wanted to share it with you all tonight. So that's the end of my update. Any questions on instruction or our equity?
Can we share the video on our page?
Absolutely, sure.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have any instruction or equity questions. Do any other board members?
You'll probably save them until tomorrow.
Plenty for tomorrow. That's right. We'll do our deep dive tomorrow.
We'll be ready.
We'll really get in the weeds.
All right, very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ryan.
Mr. Martello was unable to be with us again tonight, so we have Mr. Mark Patrick who's going to come and answer any questions. If there's questions that he can't answer, he will take questions and then get back with you with an answer. So.
All right, welcome, Mr. Patrick. If you want to
tell us a little
bit about yourself. Yeah.
Sure.
All right, well, good evening.
Good evening.
It's good to be here. It's been a while since I've been in a board meeting. I've spent quite a few of them in my previous job requirements. I'm a long-term resident of Woodford County. I've been here close to 30 years. But spent most of my time at board meetings in other counties that I work for in the area. So I'm a former finance officer. Spent time in Bourbon County and Anderson County. Worked for KDE prior to that. I was involved in the Munis implementation project back in the 90s where we dispersed out around the state, and if any of you were around at that time when we originally implemented Munis in the school systems. And then in the latter years of my career, I was with Tyler Technologies, which is the Munis owner of the Munis software system, and continued to implement Munis around the country. So with local governments and school districts. So I appreciate Mr. Atkins bringing me out of my brief retirement. I was missing board meetings. I can't believe everyone left and didn't stick around for me. The best part of it.
Kids are the draw. When the kids go, it's
Well, welcome back to Woodford County, and we're glad to have your help. I'm very appreciative.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to working with all of you, and anything I can do to help here in the few months, and whatever you need, Mr. Atkins, I'm happy to lend my expertise and experience that I've kind of gathered throughout the years. So, but I think my primary charge for tonight is to cover the financial summary report. And so I'm just going to go through the various funds and give you mainly the balances on those. Starting with the general fund and the special revenue funds. Those are your major governmental funds that make up the largest part of your revenues and expenditures, as you know, and most of that's made up of the salary and benefits of our wonderful teachers and bus drivers and aides and custodians, and then the rest of that goes to operational expenses. So the general fund ending balance is $15,632,192. The ending balance for the special revenue fund, which is our grant funds such as preschool, Title I, special needs, and so on. The ending balance for that is $621,119. Then we move to the district activity funds and our school activity funds. Those are locally generated funds through the efforts of our teachers and students that work hard to generate those monies to support the extracurricular activity in our schools. And they appear to do very well. They do a good job. I've not seen activity balances like this in other school districts, so somebody's out there working hard to support their local schools, and I'm sure you all appreciate that. And then we move to the kind of construction-related funds. You got the capital outlay, which is funded by the state based on a per-pupil allocation. Your building fund is more of state and local funded, for bond issues and so on to support the construction and maintenance of your schools. Your capital outlay fund is $910,976. Your building fund is $2,814,270. Your construction fund, and the construction fund is where the monies are actually moved to from your bond sales and so on to pay actual construction projects. So money just kind of flows in and out of that fund as you need to pay for certain construction or maintenance projects. And then your debt service fund has a zero balance, and that's because it's a pass-through fund. Money goes in to that fund when there's payments due on debt service. So it's moved in from building fund or maybe other sources, and then just flows back out to pay those bond issues. And then you get into your enterprise funds, such as your food service fund, your daycare operations, community ed operations. Your food service fund is funded primarily through federal, state, and also your lunchroom local proceeds.
Mr. Gibson, could you turn his mic up just a little bit, please? Thank you.
Almost all the way.
I'll move a little closer, sorry.
Thank you so much.
The ending balance on your food service fund is $782,565. Your daycare operations, that's primarily your after-school programs, I would assume, is $366,318. And then you have your community ed operations, which is $32,469. So total, these are all cash balances, okay? They're not fund balances, these are cash balances. So your beginning for all funds was $21,832,543, so that was your ending balance for January, going into February. You had total revenues of $2,492,725. You had expenditures of $2,959,132, leaving a ending cash balance for February of $21,492,725. $366,136. So that covers all of the different sources of funds for the school district. Any questions at all?
I don't have any. Any other board members?
I don't have any.
No. All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you coming.
Sure, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the opportunity for audience or public comment. We have some submitted by email and then one signed up for in-person. As usual, we'll go first with our in-person signee, and that is, I'm sorry? That would be a good idea. Just one second, Ms. Neal. Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Glass. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. McHale. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
The motion passes 4-1. Now we'll move on to public comment, and Candy Neal has signed up to speak about budget and ESSER. So Ms. Neal, we do 3 minutes for each person signing up. Ms. McHale, will you keep the time?
Good evening. After many months of community members reaching out to this board, many questions remain unanswered. What is the status of the interventionist at the 4 elementary schools for next year? When will you answer questions asked by teacher Kim Hartley at the last meeting, such as, who made the decision to use ESSER funds to cover staff salaries? Why were teacher salaries covered for only 3 months? Why were pay stubs coded as ESSER 2, but letters received noting funds were paid from ESSER 3? When will this board answer other questions about ESSER funds, such as, in the utilization of ESSER funds to cover operating expenses such as salary and buses necessary to balance this year's budget? What is the total amount of ESSER funds being used to cover staff salaries and other general fund expenses such as buses this school year? If ESSER funds are not needed to balance the budget, what is the anticipated general fund surplus expected for the year? If ESSER funds are being used to pay staff salaries, how will the freed up general fund be utilized? Why has the board not had any discussion related to our students' needs and how these funds could be used to address them? When will you begin to address questions regarding the budget, such as expenses from year 21-22 working budget to the 22-23 draft budget increased by more than $2 million? Why did these expenses increase so drastically given staff raises were not included? What financial resources will be devoted to helping our students recover from this pandemic? What is the long-term plan for increasing staff salaries? What is the financial plan for dealing with the short and long-term maintenance issues if 80% of the capital outlay dollars are restricted for the next 25 years? Finally, there has been speculation throughout the community about the possible relocation of the new high school to property owned by the county that is adjacent to Falling Springs. Could this be the back and forth has been with KDE discussions mentioned at a previous meeting? Will there be community input on this change? I have mentioned just a few of the questions that have been asked but never answered. One of your many duties and part of your job description of a school board representative is to listen and respond to citizen inquiries. When can we expect your responses in an open meeting? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Neal. The next item on tonight's agenda is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Do you have more comments?
Oh, I'm sorry. We've got the virtual comments. Ms. Bailey, I apologize. Thank you.
Okay. This first one is from James Foster. Dear Board of Education, please continue to keep the planning for the new high school. This needs to stay in the budget. Please start building as soon as possible. We need to continue working toward making this a reality. Our children are suffering in the current building. It's hardly functional and continues to encounter issue after issue. We need you to lead us through this and out of this building. We need to break ground and get into a new building now. Thank you for your time, James Foster. Barbara Gray. Hello, Board of Education members. Today I'm writing to encourage the board to continue planning for a new high school, to continue to include this on all the budget and reports. The current building is inadequate with small, cramped hallways. This is proving to make social distancing impossible. The safety hazards from this dated design cannot be remedied. There aren't any words that correctly describe the bathrooms. It's horrific that we expect our kids to use them. The situation with the gym now requires additional money be spent there. If the new building was ready, this expense wouldn't be a concern. I could go on and on. All of this will be corrected with the new high school building. Please keep moving forward towards the new high school. Every day we send our children to a building that many of us would not spend the day in. Let's get this moving. Let's get started. All good things come with time, and now it's time for a new high school in Woodford County. Sincerely, Barbara Gray. Tom Sanders. Board members, thank you for hearing my comments. There have been many comments shared over the past several years to keep making progress on the new high school and to keep planning for it in the yearly budgets. This comment is no different. There have been multiple conversations regarding Woodford County's spending plan for the federal money, ESSER. I've reviewed a handful of these plans. They are published on the websites of districts across the state. All of the ones I viewed include spending for facilities upgrades in various capacities. Why is this even a question in Woodford County? It's critical that this board keep working toward whatever next steps are needed to start construction of the new facility. Please be sure that this is part of the budget process. I appreciate all the conversations, forums, meetings, and discussions that have been held over the last several years. However, I do feel that those activities have become repetitive at this time. Knowing that all of this has been completed, I am very anxious to see the next steps happen and the building begin. Let's get on with the next steps. Thank you, Tom Sanders. Janice P. Butler and family. Dear Superintendent Adkins and board members, thank you for keeping to continue progress on the new high school. We are very excited about this and the opportunities it will provide. The new spaces will provide seamless opportunities for students to talk to one another and share experiences with one another every single day. We can't yet imagine the creative collaborations that these spaces will nurture. This will help strengthen our students and will provide a stronger foundation for them, stronger than what can currently be offered. The pride that everyone will have in our new school will be evident in student performances and community response. It will bring everyone together in ways that we only see a glimmer of with our current building. Our new high school will be the crown jewel for our county. Please keep budgeting and planning for this. Please keep moving forward so we can walk through those halls and sit in that gym as soon as possible. Best regards, Janice P. Butler and family. Miranda Larson. Board members, I wish to submit a comment for tonight's board meeting. Please continue to include the new high school in the budget planning. It is critical that you continue to lead us with positivity and stability. By staying focused on the goals that have been set and continuing to do all you can to ensure you reach those goals. You cannot afford to listen to the obstruction and noise that is taking place. Please do all you can to build a new high school. We are all depending on you to complete this building. Only you can do this. Thank you, Miranda Larson. Natalie Washington. Dear Woodford County Board of Education, as a resident in Miss Springgate's district, I would like to know if she has qualified for the office she is holding. I was really disappointed to hear that she may not have cared enough to do the one thing that ensures accountability to constituents. An oath obligates a person to the standards of the office. The dismissive answers and odd responses make me believe she did not take this oath. Our teachers are required to be licensed. Our counselors are required to be licensed. Almost every single Woodford County employee is licensed or certified in one manner or another. Why does a board member enjoy different privileges? Eagerly awaiting a response, Natalie Washington. And that is all.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey. The next item.
Before we move on, can I ask a couple questions or just make a couple suggestions?
I don't think we typically respond to public comment.
We don't, but I don't know that it's prohibited.
Grant, what would your advice be on that? Yes. So we need to add an agenda item?
No, you don't have to. It's a little bit more wide open.
Yeah, I just wanted to respond.
Okay.
I would like to ask that we do add the high school to the agenda so that we can get updates at each meeting.
Okay.
I thought that was a great suggestion. And then also, I know there's a timeline, and so I don't know that we've looked at that in a while. It seemed like there were a lot of comments about the high school tonight, so that might be something beneficial to kind of look at meetings. And then the other thing is, I just wanted to see if we could get, just as a standing agenda item, that on there. I'm not sure about the question about the budgets, if they were asking that be added somehow to the budget discussions. But if anybody has any ideas of how to do that, I'm open to that too. And then the other thing is, I don't know if we can somehow get answers to the questions, the financial questions. I think that would be beneficial too at the next meeting. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Springate. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. McHale. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Glass. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Next item on the regular agenda is to accept the notification of personnel matters. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Glass. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. McHale. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Next item is to accept notification of payment of bills. Is there a motion to accept notification?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Glass. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. McHale. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Item C is to approve the meeting minutes of the February 28th, 2022, 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. board meetings. All members were in attendance. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Glass. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. McHale. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Item D is to approve the awarding of Chromebook bids to CDW-G. Mr. Gibson, is there anything you would like to present to the board on this?
We are very happy with the bids that came in. Last year, the bid was awarded for $35 more a device for this coming year. So our prices, at least for the Chromebook world, is starting to come back down to the mean. It's still a hair higher than what we paid a few years ago, but at least it's coming back down versus the large price increase that we saw last year. So we are very, very pleased with that. There are a few things that I want to make of note with the recommendation that we're giving you. One, some of the because Chromebooks are not a standardized device by the state of Kentucky as far as having a whole list of specs and standards that the vendors have to meet, then we get vendors that see our bid posted online, and we get all kinds of vendors that bid on the project, whether they really will meet the type of standards we're looking for or not. And so I want to point out the rationale of the proposal down at the bottom of the spreadsheet. That rationale gives you the points of what my team, the tech department, looked at in giving you this recommendation. And those are the fact that the one that we're recommending is a student EE device, which means educational edition. That means it's extra ruggedized in order to handle at least most of the punishment the kids put on the devices. I will say we are very busy with repairs all the time, so it's not a perfect situation, but you can imagine if we were to choose a device that was not an EE design, what level of repairs we may have compared to what we currently do. So that's one part. Another point is the fact that CDWG, who's the vendor that we're recommending, is one of our KETS partners. They are on the KETS contract with the state. So therefore, they've got a long history of living up to their obligations and doing what they're asked to do both at the state and local level. So that's another reason to go with them. This is for a Lenovo manufactured device, and CDW is a Lenovo distributor. And so that combination and pairing helps us, and where it helps us the most, and several of the third parties who bid on this project the warranty claim process is the biggest piece. Because when we deal with HP Direct or Lenovo Direct, they take care of us. The devices are repaired the way we expect them to be repaired. What we have found with dealing with other third-party vendors is if the warranty is serviced by a third party, they find many, many loopholes not to repair the device. Whereas Lenovo and HP proper, they will fix them pretty much just about however we send them to them. And so that was another recommendation by my crew of technicians in particular. So Lenovo warranty would be servicing these devices. Another big thing for us, and something a lot of people don't think about, is that Chromebooks have an end of life of updating lives, meaning there's a 6 or 7 year lifespan on a Chromebook that it will update with the Chrome OS. And some of the cheaper bids that we received were for older devices that have been manufactured a couple of years ago, meaning their end of update life is 1 year to 2 years less than the device we're recommending. And that's huge because our goal is to get 4 good years out of these devices and a 5th year out of some of them. And so we want to make sure that they stay in the update cycle for that. And the last two things is the processor is an 8-core processor versus the Intel processors, which tend to be quad cores. I know that means a lot to a lot of you. And then finally, we've certainly had a positive experience in the past with not only Lenovo's and their devices, but also the warranties as well as CDW proper. So that's the reason we're recommending not the cheapest bid cost-wise on there, but what we think is the best bid.
How about availability? I know we talked last year and there was some lead time and potentially some issues. Has that gotten any better?
It has gotten way better. The touch displays that we used to take about 6 months to get in, we're starting to get in 3 or 4 weeks, which is still less than before pandemic, but it's certainly reasonable.
Yep.
The same thing's happening in the Chromebook world. Several of the vendors have told me they already have the devices in stock, and so they could ship those with your all's approval moving forward here pretty quickly.
And then
change.
Would that be a refresh then for next year? Or do you do that?
Yes.
If we get them in 6 weeks, are you going to start changing people out?
No.
Okay.
Yes, it'll be over the summer. We will get them in hopefully in the next 6 weeks to where we can prepare for the switch out, but all that takes place in the summer. It's like, a lot of people ask me in the community during the summertime, they're like, are you enjoying your summer break? For tech departments, April 1st till October 1st is our busiest times. It is not summertime. We look forward to winter break more than we look forward to summer break.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions for Mr. Gibson? All right, is there a motion to approve awarding of Chromebook bid to CWG?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Springate, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Glass, any other discussion?
No, but I would say that I really appreciate the explanation because I think it does matter, and we should be able to explain why we didn't go with the cheapest. And it sounds like there are tons and tons of reasons. So I really appreciate that. I think that's something very valuable to know. So thank you.
All right, any other discussion? Then all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the motion passes 5-0, and I'm going to ask for a 5-minute recess here. And then we will come back and do item E.
Okay.
All right. We will come back now and move on to item E. Mr. Atkins, you want to tell us a little bit about approving the awarding of bids for waste removal and fuel, which sounds very, fancy.
Yes, ma'am, we followed the, the process. We ran it in the paper, and we ended up having 2 bids for waste removal. Both of them are local. It was Rumpke and Republic. Rumpke was at $49,663, and Republic was at $40,000. So my recommendation would be Republic. And then real quick with fuel, I think we requested bids from 5 companies. 3 actually bid, and Robinson Oil was the winning vendor with the fuel. So my recommendation would be Robinson Oil for the fuel as well.
All right. Is there a motion to approve those 2 contracts as named by Mr. Atkins?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. McHale. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Glass. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. The next item is approving the adoption of bid results from Insight and gas for the building.
Yeah, with that, they recommended a 1, 2, 3, or a 4-year proposal. Well, we know we're in a very volatile market right now with those types of natural resources. So the 2-year bid looks best to us simply because there is a discount, but it doesn't tie us up to 4. For instance, let's say that we enter into a 4-year agreement and the bottom drops out of natural gas. Then we're still tied to that 4-year bid. So myself and Mr. Martello have discussed, and we feel like the 2-year bid would be our best option because that doesn't tie us up for a long-term situation where we may see less volatility in the market. So that's what we would recommend would be the 2-year. And if I'm not mistaken, the 2-year was at, there may be a 25 cent plus or minus in that. And this is based on the information from the companies. But the 2-year was slightly cheaper than obviously the 1 year.
All right.
So my recommendation would be for the 2-year, if that makes sense.
Yes. Is there a motion to approve the adoption of the 2-year gas contract as described by Mr. Atkins?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. McHale. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Glass. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. The next item is approve the auditor selection and the RFP contract for that.
We only have one.
Yep.
And I think it may have, prior to me coming here, I think it may have been a company that did the audits maybe several years ago. I'm not sure how long ago, but I do believe it's a company that Woodford County has worked with before, and that's the only bid we had. So my recommendation would be to accept that because we are required by statute for our audit.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation for Summers, McCrary, and Sparks PSC for the FY22 audit?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Glass. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. McHale. Is there any discussion?
Just to mention, I think we talked about this in the past, if people might be concerned about using the same auditor from contract to contract. And what we found was that more important than rotating the audit firm was rotating the auditor. So in lieu of that, I think that's fine. I think we just should maybe make a mental note just to check and see who that is the next time the audit comes around and just make sure that that's moving appropriately.
And I think you were in a session at KSBA with me, and I asked if that was kind of their recommendation, and they said as long as it's a different auditor
Correct.
within the group,
Yeah.
that they actually felt that provided continuity.
Right.
Because there's a certain level of familiarity with a district, but not any worry of
Yeah, it's also
pollution.
probably a little cheaper to
Yeah.
continue with this auditor versus a brand new
Well,
firm.
that's the thing, that this is not our same auditor, Ms. McGill. Our same auditor didn't turn in a bid. So this is a new
Oh, this
auditor,
is
but
a
it's
new
someone
firm.
from.
Oh, okay, I
from,
misunderstood that when I read
Yeah, it's someone
through
from, I
this.
think, 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
even-
I think they're talking about possibly getting out of the school finance audit business,
Okay.
from what I can gather.
Okay.
The most recent auditor that you all used, my understanding is they did not renew any of their contracts with school districts that were at the end of their cycle. They didn't submit proposals to any of those districts. So I think they cut about a third of their districts.
Yeah, I think it's getting pretty expensive to do those audits.
Well, there we go.
All right. Then all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Item H is discussion on possible action on a class action lawsuit regarding opioid abuse. Mr. Atkins, would you like to do this, or Grant, would you?
Either, we can do it together. I actually sat in on with a web call the other day with Clark County Superintendent and the attorneys that are pursuing this, and there's no cost to the district. I can't see a downfall to this. If there's any money that is one, well, of course, we will get a portion of it. If not, then we've really not lost anything. Grant, is there anything other than that you want to add? Because I'm not good with legal jargon.
And Angela, if so, can you slide your microphone down a little bit?
I can do that.
Just by way of explanation, the reason school districts are being asked to join that lawsuit is that the opioid pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it, there's a belief that it's going to cause substantial increase in the cost of educating special needs students over the next generation because of the level of abuse in the current generation from opioids, and that will fall directly on school districts to have substantially higher costs of interventions and behavior problems and special needs students that will require more money. That's the legal theory that school districts are relying on to go after those manufacturers and marketers.
And you said at one point, we need to get in on the ground floor of that in order to be able to take advantage of any, or the most amount of the proceeds from the.
There's a benefit to districts that become named parties to the lawsuit rather than just being part of that class, because the named party participants stand a chance to get a slightly larger slice of the pie than just all others similarly situated that did not vote to directly participate. So there could be some specific requests made of the participating districts to provide more data about student needs, whereas other districts that don't vote to participate, they don't have that same obligation to assist with data, but then they don't get as large of a cut if there's ultimately collection.
All right. Is there a motion to approve joining the class action lawsuit regarding opioid abuse?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Glass and a second by Ms. McHale. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Thank you for bringing that to us. Item I is to approve the after-school enrichment ETC sibling discount rate for 2022-2023. Mr. Wells or
Mr. Wells or Ms. Johnson?
Ms. Johnson, either way.
Hello. So prior to COVID, we had a discount for siblings for the after-school program. We discontinued that during COVID. We'd like to reinstate that. It would give a 10% discount for each child, 2 siblings and on. So the first child would be $200 a week, and then it would be a month. And then it would be $180 for each additional child after that. So this would be a 10% discount that we would give for siblings.
Is there a motion to approve the after-school ETC sibling discount rate as explained?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. McHale, and I will second that. Any further discussion?
Just wondering, Ms. Johnson, how is the enrollment going? Are we back up to normal levels? Is it?
It's a good question. No, we're struggling too. Staffing is the major contributor to that right now. Ashley Sullivan, I'll let her speak to that. She deals with this on a day-to-day basis. She was actually working here at ETC today because we didn't have coverage. So I'll let Ashley speak to that.
So, yes, I'm Ashley Sullivan. I'm the Community Education Liaison and Program Manager for ETC. And we have had severe staffing issues. I have kept a log this year, actually, of how many interviews and how many people have sought to work with us. I'm up to 96. 96 interviews that I have held this school year, and we have a staff of 20. And that 20 has rotated in and out, and in and out, and in and out. We had one staff member that worked with us for 3 days. I had another one that texted me. She was a can check away with the district. There's a background check process, and she was a can check away from starting with us. She was a college student at KSU, and texted me over the weekend, "I'm sorry, I'm no longer interested in the position." And I was like, "That's fabulous. Thank you for letting me know." So we had planned to open enrollment to new students, because we have a waiting list of about 70 children district-wide. And some of those are multiple children in the same family, so it's not just one child per household kind of situation. And a lot of them are returning students whose families weren't able to enroll with us before we had to close it. We were staffed at the beginning of the school year for the number of students who had enrolled prior to open house, which is 2 days before school starts. We each had a table set up at the elementary schools for open house so that, anybody that needed to enroll could, thinking it would be maybe 3 or 4, maybe no more than like 10 extra kids at a school, and that's not what happened at all. We were completely inundated with additional registrations that we were not staffed for. So we've had a waiting list that we have not taken any children in off of since the beginning of school, because we were staffed for the kids coming in after we did a job fair in July. We've never held a job fair for ETC, but it was ETC only job fair. I also participated in numerous job fairs with Mr. Wells over the summer and the beginning of the school year, trying to find more staff, and we can't produce people. I had 2 people in the district out today, one at Southside and one at Northside. Northside we have an enrollment of like 24 kids at Northside, and by state law, we have to have 2 staff members at least for 1 to 15 children, or for at least 15 children for kindergarten and first grade. And they ran on 2 staff today because one person called in sick. She was ill, had been ill all weekend, texted me last night, said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I can't work. I've been to the doctor." And then I had another person who texted me yesterday and said, and I have a work cell phone that goes home with me, and this is what happens over weekends. So, there's no rest for the weary. And so I responded this morning. I said, "Hey, how are you feeling? What's going on?" She'd been to the doctor last night. And when she texted back, she was like, "I'm sorry, I can't come in. I'm still having, fever-like symptoms. I'm having this, I'm having that." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So Northside ran on 2 people, and I was here at Southside filling in. So that's why I keep tennis shoes in my car, because that's just how it goes. Go ahead.
I had a parent ask, and I know I checked in with Mr. Wells on this. They asked about having high school students.
In order to be an employee of the district, we have to have employees in order to run our background checks. In order to be an employee of the district, you have to be a minimum of 18 years old, and you have to have a diploma or GED or some sort of transcript from a university or college. And I'm not aware of us being allowed to have any sort of student co-op or interns or anything like that. We used to in the past, but I don't know that that's an ability at the moment.
Grant, is that something, is that a Woodford policy or a state policy?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the child care regs for that age group. I would have to research that. I don't know.
Garrett, do you know?
Ashley knows them very well.
Yeah.
I just didn't know.
No, with our state licensing, they have to be able to produce a diploma or GED.
Okay.
But I know that we tried to hire someone who had graduated high school in May. They were still 17 until September 15th. And she set an appointment with our onboarding person at the central office for 9 a.m. September 15th when she turned 18 and could do a background check without her parents having to sign off.
So a couple of different issues here. There is a board policy in place that does limit our employees of the district to have a high school diploma. That is not a state law. That is something the board at some point many, many years ago put that in place. So currently we cannot employ anybody in any position without a high school diploma or GED. That's actually something that we'll be bringing to you in our summer policy updates to maybe look at revisiting for some certain high need positions. Having said that, when we're talking about childcare, I don't know that I think we could have, student volunteers help out and work, but I don't know that would do anything. I don't think that could impact like ratios, because they wouldn't be employees. They would just be, like we have students currently that go to elementary schools and work throughout the day, but they don't count as teachers. They don't count as staff. They're extra people to help, and it gets them experience. So I think we could do potentially something like that. Again, I'm not an expert on the child care rules, but as far as employing our own students, in a child care capacity, that I think that gets into some pretty muddy waters that I think would, necessitate a lot of conversation, if that was even possible. We'd have to change our board policy first anyway before we could even consider something like that. But I think that would bear a lot of discussion with our board attorney on if that was something that we could, even if we could do it, should we do it? So.
Gotcha. I think that's interesting, and it makes me a little concerned about even the summer program. I know I've utilized the summer program in the past for ETC, and just ETC in general as a service was a lifesaver for a family like mine. So I think we probably need to really think hard about how we can support this program. Over the summer, I know at like Falling Springs at Sunshine Day Camp,
they're not a licensed childcare facility.
So that's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is Journey. They're
Okay.
not a licensed childcare facility.
Okay.
They may be for their preschool, because I know that they do preschool stuff, but it
Yeah.
may be considered a mom's day, I think is what it's called, which is kind of like a day camp.
Mhm.
They don't run a Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. kind of deal like
Right.
we do on a full day, which is what our summer and what was fall break and things like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, so
there's
that's
there's a
different.
big heavy difference between licensed childcare and unlicensed childcare. Very, but I will say this: if we were not licensed, we would not have gotten all the CARES money that we got.
Yeah.
I mean, we received $648,000 in CARES money the first round, and we're getting additional money now because we're state licensed. And with that, it has allowed us to build up our contingency fund, and that's what helped us pay. We never did not pay staff, including our subs for the first 2 months of COVID.
So what do you think's driving the turnover or the inability to hire if we have those funds?
Other employment options. I
Higher
have
rates or?
somewhat. So our biggest competitor pay-wise in town, outside of other potential district jobs, is Kroger. Kroger will start someone at $13 to $13.50, give or take if they have any other experience. They are hiring for the pharmacy starting at $14.50 up to $16 an hour with no pharmacy experience. And they will train you and pay you at the same time. I've called several places in town. Save-A-Lot starts out at $8.50. The Dollar General, they start out at 10, I believe. It was either 9 or 10. I mean, I called several places because I was trying to figure out why we were having such a problem. And it's just it is the employee's job opportunity. You know, like when you buy a house, they say it's the buyer's market. Well, right now, it's the employee's market. I mean, there's a for sale sign or for hire sign in every storefront window from here to, everywhere. Yeah, but you also have to find the people that are willing to work. A lot of people think that what we do is just glorified babysitting, and that's not it at all. We follow a structure. I mean, if you've had children in the program, you understand. And it's not that at all, and people don't realize that until they get in the door, which is why they're with us for 3 days, and they're like, oh, I didn't realize you had a schedule, and I can't just sit and play Monopoly all day. And that's not, we help with homework. And so one of the questions I've added to my interviews in an ironic sense is, do you know Common Core math? Are you familiar with that at all? Because 1 and 1 is no longer 2. You have a whole way to go about it. And so that's something we have to know how to handle and how to do and to help our students during their homework time.
I wonder, is there some way maybe we could partner with BCTC or KCTC?
We've tried. We've outsourced at KSU. We have outsourced at Midway. We have put up things on there for hire things that they do weekly. My North Side coordinator, Emily Mullins, has put in with Midway, and she's actually a student currently in Midway going to get her teaching degree. And she has put in on their website numerous times that we're hiring. But the problem is we're not hiring for North Side. I need staff at our 2 largest locations of Huntertown and South Side. And, and sometimes people think that it's a trek from North Side to here or from Midway to here when it's not really that far. But sometimes, you know, to a student, in the gas prices that they are, that could be a big deal.
Sure.
But
Thank
no, I
you
mean,
for all of the information. No,
it's been a time. It's been a year. It's been the worst year ever for staffing for us.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And thank you for all that you do.
I had this exact same conversation though with the bus garage today. They're suffering the same woes that we are, the very same woes. But that's for another topic, for another discussion.
All right. Any further discussion?
You guys just stay where you're at.
Yep, we're gonna stay right here.
All right.
I've got the other paper out.
Then all those in favor of applying the ETC sibling discount rate for 2022-2023, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Item J is to approve a summer ETC tuition deposit requirement.
Okay. I can speak briefly to this, but Ashley again is the expert in this area. In the past, we do take reservations, or what you want to call it, reservations for each week of the summer program. Parents have to indicate to us when they want their child there. They do pay by week at that point. In the past, we have taken those reservations, and then the day before, the parent says, no, we're not sending. Two things: we've already staffed that week, which thus we have to pay, and then we don't get the actual tuition for that week, so it's put us in a bind. We'd like to implement so that when parents register for the weeks they're going to do, it'll be a $50 deposit they will pay prior to the summer, and that would then be applied to that week. So a $50 deposit would be applied to the 200, so they would be having to pay the $150 that week. If they choose not to send their child after they've registered, that $50 will stay with us because we've already staffed that week. So we're looking to change the policy now where we're going to collect that $50 deposit up front, but then it'll be applied to the tuition for that week for that child.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the summer ETC tuition deposit requirement?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. McHale. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Ms. Glass. On discussion on that, how many of our students that are using ETC do you feel like this will present a financial hardship, or will it not because you're using it as part of the tuition?
I'll let Ashley speak to that because we have a plan of paying that, so I'll let her speak to that.
I actually kind of thought of that this morning, and not in a could they pay it, but in a paying all up front. Because I'm currently facing this same type of situation. I have a 4.5-year-old who I can't find 4-year-old summer care for, and I have to work all that. And so we are opening up our summer enrollment by probably Friday of this week. So it would give parents time to allocate that type of money. Because if you're paying for all 8 weeks and you need childcare all 8 weeks, then that's $400 up front. And I understand that is a very large amount. For some families. And if a family were to receive child care assistance from the state, then that would be covered in their CCAP, and that's an agreement that they and I can come upon when that happens, if they have made the efforts to get CCAP covered. If it's a family that just cannot pay that up front, then they can pay it in payments, but the catch is, in the way that I've kind of thought about it today, the catch is it would have to be paid in full before the first week. Like regardless of how they choose to pay it. So they could pay $200 in April and $200 in May, and that would cover all $400 for the whole 8 weeks if that's what they choose to do. But it would need to be paid in full before the first week of summer.
So
that
it's
way.
not just the $50 deposit that has to be paid in advance, it's the entirety of it?
No. It's the $50 deposit, but there's 8 weeks in our summer program, so it's $50 per week, which would be $400.
If they chose.
If they chose all 8 weeks.
If they only needed 4, then it would be $200.
Yeah.
So if they don't, if they come every week and they don't cancel any, do you still keep that $400?
We would retain the $50 per week. So what our problem was last summer, we had like 35 children enrolled in 1 week. That's $200 per child times 35. And we only had 12 actually show up. I was staffed for 35, most of which were under the age of 8, which increases our requirement for ratios, for staff to student ratios. Because all of a sudden grandparents were coming to town and the students would stay with grandparents at home. Or they decided their friend was going to Falling Springs that week, so they wanted to go to Sunshine Camp at Falling Springs. And that left us in a huge bind, staff payment-wise.
So then were they not paying you for that week at all? Okay.
So, and the $50 would come off the 200 for the week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So when they pay
if
the
they
actual
come,
week,
yeah.
it's only $150.
Okay.
We're not asking for an extra $50.
Right.
It's just upfront so I know how to staff for the summer. You know, I have some staff that only want to work 1 month versus all summer, or some that want to work a fill-in here, a fill-in there, give or take their own personal family obligations or, you know, vacations and
And
things.
it gives us a commitment from the parents that we are going to send your child so that we can adequately supervise them during the summer and do what's right.
And I still think, you know, you guys are pretty flexible as far as being able to choose those weeks and only pay
Oh,
for the
absolutely.
weeks that you're going, which is quite a bit different than which is another option for people to send their kids to daycare for the summer.
Yes.
You're paying, and if you don't go, you're still paying.
Typically, on most daycares, you don't get a week off for your vacation.
Right.
You still pay that week.
Right.
You're still responsible for paying that week. It's just you're choosing not to send your child. In this program, you can choose not to send your child, but we will cover their child on weeks that you do need. So that's why we need to know, when it comes to staffing, how many kids we need, or staff that we need.
I wonder if maybe you could think about doing it in sessions, because it could be, you know, if you're looking at $200 to $400 for a month or 2 months over the course of the summer, would you be able to collect that for, say, session 1, the first 4 weeks, and then give people a little bit of a break and collect for session 2 maybe a little later? Would that, I don't know if that would work. I don't know if that would be a relief for anybody.
It could. We would have to do 2 separate registration forms for that, one for the month of June for 4 weeks and one for the month of July versus a registration form for the whole summer. Because when they fill out the registration form is when they select what weeks they want to attend.
Okay.
And I mean, and I'm flexible. If there is a family crisis going on and they absolutely cannot send their child, they do not need our services. I mean, we've made adjustments, you know, regularly for the month if something has happened. But it's just left us in a huge bind in years past. And in years past, we required families to sign up for a full month or the full summer. A weekly option was never a choice. But we found last summer that it worked really well. We had some that wanted to come some and some that didn't want to come at all for certain months. You know, and we do themed camps now versus a whole summer camp. So we have like a space camp. We have an edible engineering where we do cooking classes and teaching and things. This summer we're bringing in field trips. We're going back to Falling Springs for the pool. You know, we're able to actually go out and have visitors come in. So like the Lexington Philharmonic is coming in for our Music Makers Week, and they're doing an instrument petting zoo. But, you know, I need to know how many students to cover for that and what to do. And that's something we've already put the option out for them to come to see us. And we optioned it at that time for 35 students because that was the highest we had last summer. Now that's to say, you know, we could have 10 that week, and that would be detrimental to our staffing again. But if that's what it ends up being, then maybe I won't need as many staff that week because I'll know ahead of time. But there's just a lot of things that go into planning for it.
Yeah, understood.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the ETC tuition deposit requirement, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank
you all.
Is there a chance that you guys could kind of follow back up with us next month and let us know if families have expressed that this is going to be an undue stressor on them so that we can kind of take just a follow-up look at this item? Yes. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Item K is to approve the summer school pay and salary schedule. Dr. Jones?
Good evening. It's kind of hard to believe we are planning summer school with it snowing this past weekend. But as we look for volunteers, and we know how important our summer programming is, we are asking that we increase our pay rate for our certified teachers to $35 an hour and our classified staff $25 an hour. Local districts that surround us have increased their pay between $30 and $40 an hour. We are asking teachers to give up 6 weeks of their summer. 3 in June and 3 in July to work with our kids. We are so proud of our program, so proud of what we offer, so proud of the number of kids we're going to touch. So far, we have 25 teachers who have signed up to work in some capacity. Some work just in June, some work just July, some have committed to all 6 weeks, but we feel this is an appropriate ask for what they do for us in the summer.
So as far as an impact on our resources, it looks like that's $10 per hour for certified increase and $5 per hour for classified increase?
Correct.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the summer school pay salary schedule? I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Oh, Allison was the one I
Whoever,
heard.
it doesn't matter.
So Ms. Richardson will second.
Right?
Is there any discussion?
I have a couple questions. The funding source for summer school, is that going to be with ESSER?
It is my understanding, yes.
100% ESSER?
Yes.
Okay. And I, for some reason, was thinking that we paid a little bit more last year to our certified and classified staff. Is there any way to kind of double check that? Because I'm all for having the $10 increase and the $5 increase.
So last year, we did not adjust the salary schedule. We increased the hours the teacher worked. So this one just makes it a little cleaner because we don't keep them all day. We don't keep the students all day. We planned additional time last year for teachers to plan because for the first time last year, we incorporated math. This year will be our second year for math, so we didn't feel we needed the hours of planning as much as we did last year. So that's why we're asking for the increase on the salary schedule.
Okay, and do you think teachers understand that it sounds like maybe they're going to be making less per hour, or no?
They're going to make less overall because it's going to be 1 day shorter due to the way July 4th falls, that holiday. That week will only be 2 days a week, but the time, it's going to be at 5.5 hours a day at $35. It still works out to the same pay that they had last year. I have a neat little color-coded spreadsheet that I'm sure doesn't surprise anybody here with it all worked out.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the summer school pay salary schedule increase, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Dr. Jones. Item L is to approve the addendum to project list in the Safe Schools grant.
Basically, what this would do would be to install a new intercom at Northside and would use up the remainder of the grant. I think the grant remainder is $1,547.29. That would use up the entire $111,384 of the Safe Schools grant. So,
All right, is there a motion to approve the addendum to the project list for the Safe Schools grant?
So moved.
There's a motion by Ms. Glass. I'll second that. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. We will move through old business and any board member communications.
Can I just, sorry. Communications, then discussion items, or what's old business?
Discussion items is next.
Okay. Sorry.
All right, Ms. McHale, is there a discussion item that you'd like to have?
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted to talk again, we spoke last month about the roof situation at the high school, and I really don't want to lose sight of that. We're getting into a rainy season, coming up in the spring, and of course it'll happen again in the fall. We're not going to be out of the building. I really think that we need to look at that repair.
I'm not sure. I thought I shared that with you guys. If I didn't, I apologize. I shared a piece, if not. Trimco is the roofing company Mr. Green reached out to, and they gave us really two options, either to repair or replace. The replacement was somewhere between $2.5 million based on if we replaced it all. Yeah, and if I didn't forward that to you, I'll send you the entire.
I think you did.
I think we got the replacement. I'm not sure I saw a repair.
Yeah, there's a second email to that. I apologize. That is a repair as well. Repair and replace. The replace would be somewhere in the neighborhood between $2.5 million. They recommend they've got a schedule as to what they would recommend seeing done. Repair some, replace some, that type of thing. So
Can we add this for next month's meeting?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any other discussion items? All right, then there is a need to go, or is there a motion to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101B for a discussion of the potential acquisition or sale of real property due to a determination public discussion could be likely to affect the value of the property?
Yes, ma'am.
So there's a motion by Ms. Glass. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second by Ms. McHale. All those in favor of going into executive session, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion passes 5-0, and there will be no action after the executive session.
Do we have some more for us, Mr. Williams? Thank you.